Hey YouTubers, this is your friend Sharon. I'm making a new video called Long-Term Kratom User Speaks Out Again. I did an update and I just labeled it questions and answers, and nobody's really watching it, but they keep asking the same questions. So maybe if I title this one Long-Term Kratom Speaks Out Again, people will be interested in it, because that old one, I made it, I think it's close to 3 years ago. It's got like 70 some thousand views now. Amazing. But I just want to, that old video has some misconceptions in it that I didn't know until somebody pointed it out to me. I misspoke. I said that I got terribly addicted to kratom, and I'm thinking he's referring to when I was talking about after my accident, because that's when I realized kratom could be addictive, or you could get dependent on it, because I'd never used that much before, and I pretty much dosed around the clock, like every 4 hours, because I didn't take my pain pills. I didn't like the way the pain pills made me feel. It made me want to sleep all the time, and they made me depressed. And there's a lot of stuff I can't take, makes me depressed, that makes other people feel fine. But anyway, he just was zeroing in on that fact. I said I was terribly addicted. Well, I got off of kratom in 2 days, so I probably wasn't terribly addicted. But that's the first time in my life I ever felt that way. So to me, it was an alarm. It was alarming. It was an alarming situation, and I corrected it. And if you don't have the ability to self-regulate or self-correct, then I wouldn't recommend kratom for you. But only you know that. But because you don't have the ability to self-correct, doesn't mean kratom is a bad substance. It just means you'd probably abuse anything you took. But I'm going to say, I was just going to read a comment I put on somebody else's video that was demonizing kratom and saying it was taking them 6 months to get off of it. I'm just going to read what I commented on theirs, because it really succinctly says what I feel about kratom. And then I'm probably going to move on to other things, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. I love talking about kratom, but I'm not going to let people tear me and other responsible kratom users down because they had a bad experience. I won't tolerate that on my channel, but you are free to say whatever you want to say. But anyway, this is what I commented, and it sums up how I feel about kratom. Here is how to use kratom successfully to manage chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. Take small doses, once a day should do it, and take regular breaks. I'm 64 years old and have used kratom for 14 years. I've seen more people get their life back together using kratom than I did in all my years of being a social worker. 4 grams a day should do it. If you had a hard time getting off of it, look at anything else you are taking as well. I never used anything else, and taking breaks was no problem. If you can't use things without being responsible, then stay away from it. It's not for you. If you are smoking weed, cigarettes, drinking wine, etc., while using kratom, you can get into trouble fast. Ingesting any of those other substances will make your withdrawals worse, so you'll take more kratom. But know this, no one has ever died from using kratom. Compare this to smoking anything or drinking alcohol. No one has ended up on the streets because of kratom. Again, compare this to everything else people use to get through the day. If you are having problems with the plant, then get off of it. But know the problem is more you than the plant. My 2 cents as a long-term kratom user. That's how I feel. And I'll feel that way till I die. And I plan on returning to kratom after my break. it got to where it really wasn't doing much for me, and I think I had just taken it too long. And I should have taken a long break a long time ago. But I've had not a stressful life, a hectic life. I've been traveling a lot and taking care of my grandkids and just doing a lot of things. And kratom has always been my go-to when I felt stressed out. But I'm fine without it. I'm fine without it. And if you're using kratom and smoking and drinking and all that, blah, 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 it probably won't be a problem until you try to get off kratom. And I think those other substances make withdrawals way worse. But anyway, that kind of sums up my feeling on it. And I explained in that comment how I think you can take it the rest of your life if that's what you want to do. Use it responsibly. And I don't believe in once an addict, always an addict, okay? You can imagine what a minority I was in when I was working as a social worker. But I don't. More addicts and alcoholics quit drinking and using drugs on their own than with treatment. They just quit. And they don't start up again. Very often. I saw that over and over. So they were an addict, then they weren't. So I think addicts can use kratom to get off of the harder substances and the more destructive substances. And then they can choose to get off kratom or take it like a maintenance for the rest of their life. But take it exactly like I said earlier in my video. When I return, I'm planning on I'm going to dose once a day because I wasn't afraid of it. I did respect it, but I wasn't afraid of it. And if I felt the need to dose again later in the day, I would do it. But I think I slept better when I didn't do that. I'm really sensitive to caffeine. And regardless of what somebody commented on that other video, kratom is related to the coffee plant. And it has a lot of the same things in common. And I can't drink coffee after about 10 o'clock in the morning, or I'm awake all night. So I don't plan on, I'm going to just do like one dose in the morning for my arthritic pain and to get me going for the day and be done with it. And I'm not going to take it every day either. I think that's the safest thing. But if you need it for chronic pain or to manage your depression, take it every day. You would take your pain pill every day. You would take your antidepressant every day. So, I guess the main thing is figure out why are you taking it. And if you're taking it for recreational use, forget it. Because that euphoric feeling doesn't last very long. And if you're taking it for that feeling, you're also the type of person that would abuse it. It's just that plain and simple. But I know hundreds and hundreds of people that are using it to manage chronic illness successfully. Some take breaks, some don't. That's a decision you have to make. But anyway, I am going to post this with the new title, and hopefully people will watch this one instead of my old one. Because like I said, I misspoke a couple of times. And I've learned some things since then. That was 2 or 3 years ago. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And like I said, if I ever do make $1 off YouTube, which I doubt, I'm going to do a kratom giveaway. But watching that old video doesn't help towards that. It has to be in the last 12 months. I did some research on that because it's kind of fun to think about. And I'm also buying an e-bike. I'm taking possession of it this weekend. Have to drive to the big city of Bozeman, Montana to pick it up. And I'm going to video an old lady riding hundreds of miles on her new e-bike. If that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. Thanks.